Good afternoon, everyone. Today, inshallah, we will continue with systems of linear equations. I'm sorry for the last lecture, it was a short one, but it is recorded and we have 2 parts already available on the YouTube. So I believe you will have no problems with it. Let's do a short recap about the previous lecture. We started in matrices and systems of equation, which is very basic. Why we need matrices? Mainly, we invented matrices for the main purpose, to solve a system of linear equations. What I have here, an M equations, as you know from the previous lecture, N unknowns. So I have M equations in N unknowns. Of course, this bunch of matrices can be put simply in a matrix form. Or a matrix form. It's very, very simple. All I have to do is to put it on the form A times X equal B, where A is the coefficient matrix. As you know, X is the column matrix or the unknown matrix. B, it's going to be the column matrix, and it is the independent column matrix. So, simply, for this system of equations, I can put it on the following matrix form. This is A, which contains all the coefficients of these matrices. كل الأرقام اللي موجودة قدام الإنسان أنا لميتها مع بعض يعني في ماتريكس واحد. Then I will have the xi's, which is x1, x2, x3, and so on, which represent the unknowns. Then finally, you will have b1, b2, b3, up to bn, which are the independent variables. Okay. Before we go further, let's have a small example or a quick example on this. Let's say I have 3 over x1 plus 2x2 minus x3 equal 4. I have 2x1 plus x3 equal 2. Let's say I have x2 minus x3 and it's equal to 3. That's a system of how many equations and how many unknowns. 3 equations, n, x1, x2, x3. So it's a 3 unknowns. So it's really very simple to put them in a matrix form. How to do it, Ali? I will collect the numbers, but I will respect their arrangements. So I will start with the first column is x1. Get the numbers of x1, which appears in front of you. 3, then 2, then I have 0, okay, which is 0 times x1. This is why you can't see x1. Okay, for the second column, we will start with 2, then I will have 0, then I will have positive 1. For the third column, Omar, I will have negative 1, then I will have positive 1, negative 1. The unknowns are x1, x2, x3, and the independent column matrix, which is 4, 2, and 3. So it's really very simple to put the system of equations into a matrix. Remark for us, of course, this is a 3 by 3 matrix. And for this column matrix is the 3 by 1. And the result also is 3 by 1. First of all, it can be multiplied with each other. Now again, say if other this matrix in x1, x2, x3, it will develop the first equation, second, and third. Okay? Because once you try to multiply the first row by the first column, it's going to be simple. 3x1, then plus 2 over x2, then minus 1 for x3. It's the first equation. And it is equal to 4. So the first equation already exists. The second and the third. Okay? Any questions? Okay, it's very simple. Once more, okay, classification of a system of linear equations. If you remember in the previous session, we had more than one system of equations. And we have tried to solve them, regardless elimination or whatever. We found the following. Some systems will have a unique solution. Just only one solution, which is called an independent solution. يبقى عندي مثلا, let's say, 2 equations and 2 unknowns. لو عندي معادلتين في مجهولين. ممكن to find the solution with x1 equal to certain value, x2 equal to certain value. In this case, these 2 equations, the solution is just only 1 point. Okay? This is what's called an independent solution. which means it has exactly one solution. For a system of equation, I have three main alternatives. Number one, I have a unique solution, which means just only one value of x1, one value of x2 that will satisfy this group of equations if I'm talking about 2 by 2. The second alternative is to have infinite number of solutions, or what is called a dependent solution. That's a consistent system of equation between two dependent solutions. Case number 3, I will have no solution. The two equations will develop nothing. An example for this, because from the look of your eyes, it seems like you don't understand. Okay, let's do it this way. Remember, in the previous lecture, if I have, for example, 3 over x1 plus x2 equal 4, then x1 minus x2 equal 3. That's a system of equations. How many unknowns? 2. In how many equations? If you try, before we go further, remark that these two equations are completely different than each other. Am I right? Muhammad? These two equations are completely different than each other. So, trying to solve this system of equations regardless the method, it will develop a consistent system. System is correct, and you will have independent solution. It means you will have a solution for the system, and it will develop just only one value in x1 and one value in x2. This is what we mean by independent solution. يبقى في رقمين فقط x1 و x2 يخلوا الفيرست equation correct والsecond equation correct. There is another system. ممكن يبقى عندك system تاني. There is another system. Let's say x1 plus x2 equal 4. 2x1 plus 2x2 equal 8. This system of equations also contains two equations and two unknowns. معايا محمد؟ أحمد صح؟ Okay. These two equations in two unknowns are dependent. Actually, they are not different than each other. I have just only one equation for us. I multiply it by 2 and give it to you. There is no extra information. So this system will develop. First of all, it is consistent system of equation. But it will develop a dependent solution. So the solution of this system that will depend on the variables, on the choice of the variables. The last case that you may face is x1 plus x2 equal 4, x1, 2 over x1 plus 2 over x2 equals 0. This system will develop nothing. Simply, because there is a mismatch in data. I'm giving you x1 plus x2 equal how many? 4. Then I've multiplied the right hand side in 2. But the left hand side. But the right hand side is equal to 0. How it's going to be possible to have x1 plus x2, the result is 4. Then you will have 2 over x1 plus 2 over x2, and it's equal, the result is 0. It's not going to be possible. So we call this system in consistent system. There is no solution for this one. From the types of acting with equations, I have how many cases? 3 cases. Number 1, I will have a unique solution. Number 2, infinite number of solutions. That's the case of infinite number of solutions. Number 3, there is no solution. طيب هو representing كده على chart زي كده بيقول the set of solutions for any linear system of equations or the system of equations, it is in between. Either consistent, this case and that case, consistent. Or inconsistent, like this one. Inconsistent has no solution. مفيش حاجة بتظبطها. طيب, if it is consistent, you will have one of these two cases. Either independent solution or dependent solution. So, inconsistent, you will have consistent, independent, that's a unique solution. Or consistent, dependent, has infinitely many number of solutions. اوكي؟ طبعا كل ده was covered in the previous lecture. كل ده احنا قلنا المره اللي فاتت. طيب تعالى بقى ايه؟ نكمل. طبعا هنا برضه يدي لك السيستم اهو x2 equal 3 over 6. The system can be seen as a matrix of 4 زي ما احنا شفنا المره المحاضره previous example. حاطين coefficient matrix. This is x1, that's 3 and 6. Okay, continue. Notice that these two matrices, if you multiply them, if you multiply the first row by the column, it will give you the right-hand side from the left-hand side from the first equation. If you multiply the second row by x and 1, it will give you the left-hand side of the second equation. Here we go. If you consider the equality in matrices, that they have to be from the same dimension and the corresponding element will equal to each other, it will give you the first equation and second equation. Okay, if I try to solve this system, it will develop x1 equal to -1 and x2 equal to 2. If you try to multiply the first row by the first column, it will lead to 3. معايا مهند؟ If we multiply the second row by the second by this column, the result will be 6. يبقى ده سيستم 2 by 2 وطبعا الحاله اللي قدامي دي حد يعرف يقول لي الحاله دي ايه؟ حسب لها سولوشن؟ طبعا لها سولوشن اللي هو -1 ومين؟ و2 معايا حسب؟ دي لها سولوشن. اوكي طيب يا ترى لها سولوشن اندبندنت ولا ديبندنت؟ اندبندنت ليه؟ لان -1 و2 بس هما اللي هيخلوا الفيرست ايكويشن كوريكت والسكند ايكويشن كوريكت. تمام؟ هنشوف ازاي بطلع النمبرز دي كمان شويه. اي استفسار؟ اي مشاكل؟ علي معايا؟ قول. في ميثودز كتير بس احنا لسه ما دخلناش في الديتيلز بتاعتها. لكن انا بس حاليا عارف ان انا عندي سيستم اوف ايكويشن اقدر احطه in a matrix 4. Matrix 4 if I succeeded in getting x1 و x2 هم دول السولوشن. طب امتى يبقى solution؟ هو when the right hand side equal to the left hand side. Okay? So the equations will be satisfied. عارف معايا؟
يعني لما اضرب الفيرست رو في الكود.
Yes, let's do it. 1 times -1 -1 و 2 times 2
4.
Some of them will equal
3.
Let's start once more. 4 times -1 بعدين 5 times 2 10. The difference between them خد -1 و 2 تعال على الفيرست ايكويشن دي. -1 plus 4 equal to 3. -1 which is -4 plus 10 is going to be 6. Right hand side of it. Okay. طيب تمام. في حاجه اسمها augmented matrix. We are going to the direction of how to get the solution. طيب ازاي بجيب augmented matrix؟ How to get what's called the augmented matrix? The augmented matrix is really very simple to have. All I have to do with an augmented matrix is to get two matrices together يا عمر. احنا دلوقتي شفنا ان any system of equations can be put simply on the given form, on the form that I will show you now. Any system of equations can be put simply as A times X equal to B. Get the coefficient matrix by itself. This is the unknown matrix, and that's the result. What's called the augmented matrix, أو بالعربي المصفوف matrix يعني مصفوف. Augmented موسعة يعني مصفوفة كبيرة. The bigger matrix. How to get it? It's really simple. I will take A and B both together. This is what's called the augmented matrix. Let's say I have a system which contains 3, 2, 1, -1, 0, 1, 3, 4, and 5. And this is x1, x2, x3. That's the unknown variables. And the result is 3, 6, and -5. That's the system of equations that I have in a matrix form. How to get the augmented matrix? For say the augmented matrix is very, very simple. All I have to do is to open a bigger matrix. This line is a dotted line. I usually feel more comfortable using it like this. I will take the coefficient matrix here. So it's going to be 3, -1, 3, معايا حسب 2, 0, and 4, 1, 1, and 5. it will be the results or the independent matrix. V6 minus 5. This is what's called the augmented matrix. ده اللي بسميه augmented matrix. يبقى كلمة augmented matrix, it's really very simple. That's the system of equation, general form. Bottom on a matrix form, I will take the coefficient matrix, and that's the result matrix. Exactly like what it did. يبقى لما يبقى عندي system of equations، اللي هو الأول ماتريكس، بعدين خد الكوفيشنت ماتريكس حطها وخد العناصر بتاع الريزلتس اكتبه جنبها. صعبة؟ دي اسمها augmented matrix. طبعا he already explained this for you here, the augmented matrix of a system of linear equation in variables. It's ax equal to b, so the augmented will be a, then b. A, then slash b, which is going to be on this form. That's what's called the augmented matrix. يبقى السيستم ده اقدر اخليه كده اللي هو ايه؟ Okay, examples. Consider that's a system. These are two systems. اللي انا شايفه قدامي دول two systems. ده system number 1 وده system number 2. مستر عمار صح؟ عامر. تعرف تكتب لي augmented, can you please write the augmented matrix for the first system? قول. أيوه augmented matrix dimension will be 2. أيوه yes you are correct 2 by 3. يلا مليين. The first number will be 1. Then the second row will be then okay, that's the augmented matrix for the first system. Mr. Ali, write the augmented matrix for the second system. يلا x1 الكوفيشنت بتاعه كام؟ x1 الكوفيشنت بتاعه كام؟ Do you have x2? The result is go for the second row. Yes, exactly right. 0, 1, and 3. That's the augmented matrix, and that's the augmented matrix of the first system, and that's of the second system. معايا شباب؟ Okay, انزل. طبعا هنا augmented matrix of S1 as we spoke 1, 5, 7, -2, -7, -5 as you can see. معايا عمر؟ And that's the augmented matrix of the second system as you can see 1, 0, 0, 1, -8, and 3. Perfect. So it's really very simple. If you have a system of equations to model first matrix form to get the augmented matrix step by step. Okay, perfect. طبعا خلي بالك ان السيستمز دي دول they are solutions. So once you have this system, once you try to solve it, this is going to be the end. But we will see this later. Okay? في حاجة اسمها elementary row operations. وده كلام مهم. كل اللي انا قلته مقدمة. ان انا عندي system of equations بقدر احطه هنا matrix 4. matrix 4 لو انت احتجت تقدر تجيب له augmented matrix. طيب علشان السيستم ده اقدر اوصله بالشكل ده واعرف السولوشن يعالج غالبا هحتاج ليه من elementary operations. مين elementary 3 operations دول يا احمد؟ Number 1 switching rows. Number 2 multiplying the row by a certain number. معايا مستر فراس؟ Number 3 multiplying a row by a number then adding it on another row. انت عارف ال 3 operations دول. Okay? Switching rows, multiplying row by number, multiplying row by number, and then add it on another row. ده اللي بيطلق عليه elementary row operations. هناخدهم مع بعض. Elementary row operations. Number 1 exchange of two rows. Ri instead of Rj. يبقى first row مكان second row and vice versa. ده first operation. Second operation. Second operation, multiplication of a row by a non-zero star. So Ri dash يعني السكند رو الجديد هيساوي some number in R2 مثلا لو انا بعمل جو بالفورم ده على R2. معايا يا شباب؟ Okay, the third one, addition to a row of another multiple over row by a star. يعني multiplying the row by a number then adding it to another. اوكي الستيب اللي انا هعمله دلوقتي سابق للوقت بس عايز اوريه لك. How many steps do I have? 3 of them. Can you say them? They are very, very important. You will have to memorize them and to perfect this operations. First of all, switching rows. Number 2, if you need, multiplying row by a constant number. Number 3, multiplying by a number, then adding it to another row. بص كده عمر. بص, look at this matrix. I can change this matrix to be in that form by using some of these operations. Okay. Let's start. I will need the first element to be positive 1. Okay, unlike the first element is 1, 5, and 7. This is the first element. We call it a pivot. So each element on the principal diagonal, we will call it a pivot. So first of all, this number, I will call it a pivot. I will use it for us. I will use it to guarantee that the number beneath it is equal to 0. How to do this? I will choose the third operation. The third operation states that you can multiply a complete row by a number, then adding it to another row. Okay. I need -2 to be changed to equal to 0. How to do this? I will multiply the first row, which is 1, the pivot, by exactly this number but with opposite sign. So I will multiply the 1 by 2. Then I will add it on the second row. Let's do it together. Cross. Multiply 1 in times 2, so it's going to be 2 plus -2. The result will be. So actually, what I'm doing now is getting R2 plus 2 times R1. ده اللي انا بعمله دلوقتي. اوكي يبقى R2 ب-2 plus 2 times 1. The result will be 0. Okay, R2 which is -3, -7 also. 2 times 5 which is 10. The result will be. Do it once more. I will multiply the first row by 2, which is 14, minus 5, so the result will be. I will choose one of the main operations. What's the operation that I used? The third one. Multiplying the first row by certain constant, then adding it on the second row. So I started multiplying this row by 2. And the result will be added on the second row. Okay, okay. بضرب الصف الأول في كام؟ في 2. بعدين هجمعه على الصف رقم كام؟ 2. عشان ايه اللي يحصل؟ عشان عايز الاليمنت اللي يبقى بزيرو. معايا؟ اللي هو الاليمنت اللي تحت البيفوت. اوكي، تعالى نعمل ده. 2 times 1 ب 2 plus -2 the result عامل هيديك ايه؟ 0. Try it once more. 2 times 5 10. 10 plus -7 the result will be 3. 2 times 7 14 plus -5 the result will be 9. I will enhance this matrix by another step. I need this pivot, which is the pivot of the second row, to be 1 hazard. How to guarantee this number is going to equal to 1? Using one of these steps. يعني عايز الثلاثة دي تبقى واحد. اوكي؟ يبقى I can multiply okay the second row by 1/3 اللي انت قلته اسمه عليها. لا اي واحدة منهم. انا تشوز ايه اللي ينفع تشتغل فيه. اللي يشتغل فيه. طيب اوكي تعالوا نعمله سوا. خلي بالك انا لغايه دلوقتي مش مطلوب بس عايز حاسس ان كده هتفهم قوي وانا بعمل ايه وليه. الحركه اللي بعديها. اوكي بس بسرعه. هضرب السكند رو in 1/3. ده معنى ان انا عملت ديفيجن. يبقى انا هاجي هنا اهو هقول R2 times 1/3 اللي هو عملت ديفيجن 1/3. تعال بص كده نيو رو هيبقى شكله عامل ازاي؟ The new row will be 0 3. Are you with me? Once you divide this row on 3 or multiply by 1 over 3, it will be 0, 1, and 3. Am I right? I need the numbers above this pivot to be equal to 0. How to guarantee that this 5 is equal to 0? I will multiply 1. I will use, first of all, I will use the third operation. I will multiply this row by negative 5 in specific. Then I will add it on the first row. Once you do this, let's see what's going to happen. Negative 5 times 0 is going to be 0 plus 1, so the result will be 1. Negative 1 times 1, by it's equal to negative 5 plus 5, the result is 0. Negative 5 times 3, it's negative 15. Plus 7, the result will be negative 8. So I used the 3-row operation, the 3 elementary row operations to change my matrix, the general matrix, the coefficient matrix, to be on a reduced echelon form. You will know what I will say just in a few slides. Once you succeeded in changing the coefficient matrix to be on a reduced echelon form, the result is given. You will have new result. So it's this technique is called Gauss-Jordan. Okay? So once more, how many row operations Mr. Muhammad؟ 3 عمليات ما تنساوش. أبدل صف مكان صف. أضرب صف في رقم. أضرب صف في رقم وأضرب صف تاني حازم. معايا؟ يبقى دي كام اوبريشن؟ 3 اوبريشنز. بعملهم ازاي؟ ليه؟ ايه الهدف؟ بختار بالترتيب انه تو موف اور تو تشينج الكوفيشنت ماتريكس عشان يبقى على الريديوسد اشلون فورم. حاجه اسمها ريديوسد اشلون فورم. مين الريديوسد اشلون فورم دي؟ احاول اتشينج this matrix to be on a unit matrix. اقرب ما تكون unit matrix. ده الريديوسد اشلون فورم. هكون انا حليت السيستم على طول. ده الريزلتس. خلي بالك في السلايد اللي فات واحنا بنintroduce السلايد اللي فات واحنا بنintroduce ازاي اقدر احط augmented matrix دي اتحطت على augmented matrix ده علي ده اتحط على augmented matrix اهو معايا يا احمد معايا شوف ده كان سيستم تاني حطيته على augmented matrix انا وريتك نون ده systems are equivalent انا عرفت اغير ده يبقى على الشكل وانس اللي هو على الشكل ده x1 السولوشن هيبقى x1 تساوي نيجاتيف 8 و x2 تساوي كام؟ 3 مهمة how to be sure that negative 8 و 3 are solutions for this system just substitute I will replace x1 by negative 8 so it's a negative 8 plus 3 times 5 which is 15 the sum will be يعني احنا correct طيب نتاني once more negative 8 و 3 negative 8 times negative 2 is going to be 16 16 minus 7 times 3 which is negative 21 the difference between them is negative 5
دكتور هو ده ممكن نخلي التومات زي بعض ولا
لا الهدف اني اخلي الماتريكس دي اللي انا بجرب عليها ايه؟ ده الريل ماتريكس اسمها ريديوس اشلون فورم انا هتكلم عليها بس انا حبيت ان انا اقول لك على طول دلوقتي لان اول ما هدي لك لما باجي الجزء اللي هو بتاع الرو اوبريشنز هيبقى السؤال وبعمل بيهم ايه؟ يعني ريبليس الجروز ليه؟ مالتيبلاين رو ليه؟ مالتيبلاين رو ادد ونمضه اشمعنى؟ انا بعمل دول عشان استخدمهم عشان اصولف السيستم اوف ايكويشنز هصولف دول ازاي؟ همشي ستيب ولا ستيب ولا ستيب هي الحته دي لازم تتاخد كده اوكي؟ كمل بقى معايا هنا اهو بيوريك بص بقى على حاجه اكبر بس هنا اللي هيحاول يوضحه لك اللي هيحاول يقول لك ازاي بعمل كل ستيب او اوبريشن والاوبريشنز اللي ورا انا عندي هاو ماني اوبريشن طيب وات وي مين باي سويتشنج روز زي دي مثلا I will switch the first row instead of the second row اهو شلت الرو الثاني طلعت فوق خدت الرو اللي فوق نزلته تحت اصبح 4 5 1 0 2 negative 5 the last row is as it is يبقى this is the first operation as an example on first operation the second operation multiplying the row by number تعال بص كده على الماتريكس دي I can multiply the first row by mean 1 over 5 يبقى 1 over 5 times 5 1 سلايد. جمعت R1 زائد R2 يا عمر. ازاي بجمع R1 على R2؟ بجمع element يبقى 1 5 7 زي ما هو شايف؟ مين اللي هيتغير؟ second row. اغير السكند رو ازاي؟ اروح قايل 1 بلس نيجاتيف 1 ده لازم تقول لي 0. بعدين 5 بلس نيجاتيف 5 ده لازم تقول لي 0. بعدين 7 بلس نيجاتيف 12 ده لازم تقول لي نيجاتيف 5. معايا يا شباب؟ يبقى السلايد ده انا بشوف فيه اكزامبل زي ما انا قلت لك على الثيرد اوبريشن which is multiplying the row by number and adding it to another row. احمد معايا؟ اوكي. طيب ايه هو الايكيفالنس؟ الايكيفالنس زي ما انا عملت دلوقتي ده اسمه ايكيفالنس. مسكت الماتريكس دي عملت عليها رو اوبريشنز وصلتني الماتريكس الجديده يبقى التو ماتريسيز دول ار ايكيفالنت تو ايتش اذر. لذلك السولوشن بتاع الوصف ماتريكس نفع يبقى السولوشن للفيرست سيستم ولا ايه اللي حصل؟ عشان مسكت الماتريكس الاولانيه يا سيف وقعدت العب فيها نزل الصف مش عارف تحت واضرب ده في رقم واجمعهم على بعض حصل؟ بعدين في الاخر راح طالع لي x1 بيساوي 8 x2 بيساوي 3. اما اخد التو نمبرز دول واروح اعوض بيهم في اي ماتريكس تطلع الاجابه ايه؟ مظبوطه. ليه؟ لانهم ايكوفالنت تو ايتش اذر. معايا حازم؟ اهو الكومنت ده مكتوب هنا. بص تو ماتريسز ام ان ان اي مصفوفتين اي تو ماتريسز ام ان ان ار سيت تو بي رو ايكوفالنت. بقول عليهم رو ايكوفالنت امتى؟ بص if there exists a finite sequence. انا فعلا عملت finite sequences. عملت multiplication لو جمعته قلبته مش عارف عملت ايه. of elementary row operations over rows that transforms m into n. ده اللي انا عملته. مسكت الام اهي لعبت فيها شويه بتاعت ام. يبقى الماتريكس ام والماتريكس ان دول اسمهم ايه؟ equivalent to each other. السولوشن بتاع any one of them it will be solution for the other matrix. وده اللي حصل بالفعل. we write n is equivalent to n. خلي بالك انا يعني ايه equivalence محمد وازاي بقدر اجيبها. اوكي systems with row equivalent augmented matrices are equivalent. باكد تاني اهو شوف الستيتمنت لوحده انه الاثنين دول بالظبط زي بعض. كمل. هبدا بقى اتكلم بقى دلوقتي ان سبيسيفيك على وات از كولد اشلون فورم وريديوسد اشلون فورم. الاشلون فورمز يعني تحاول تجيب لور تحاول تجيب ابر تريانجولار ماتريكس. ده فاكر مين ابر تريانجولار ماتريكس؟ اللي هو اسمه البرنسبل دايجونال. كل الارقام اللي فوقيه موجوده لكن اللي تحتيه بكام؟ بزيرو. دي اسمها ايه؟ ابر تريانجولار ماتريكس. يبقى انا لما ادي لك ماتريكس واقول لك حطها لي في الاشلون فورم حضرتك تفكر تعمل ايه بالعمليات اللي انا اديتها لك عشان تخليها ابر تريانجولار ماتريكس. صعب. طب لو في صف كامل بزيروز يا سيف نزله لتحت. يعني في اي صف كامل بزيروز تاخد الصف ده ونزله فين؟ لتحت. حاول تقرب على قد ما تقدر للابر تريانجولار ماتريكس. ده اسمه اشلون فورم. طب الريديوسد اشلون فورم try to transfer your matrix to be unit matrix. The nearest to unit matrix. مستر محمد يعني ايه unit matrix؟ يعني principal diagonal are ones and whatever else is equal to كام يعني zeros. انا دايما ممكن اجيب الاشلون فورم بعدين اجيب الريديوسد اشلون فورم. يبقى اللي انا عايزك تتخيله دلوقتي ايه هي الاشلون فورم؟ ابر تريانجولار ماتريكس. اقرب ما تكون لانه مش ممكن ما توصلش للمرحله دي. اوكي؟ طيب مين هي الريديوسد اشلون فورم؟ دايجونال ماتريكس الارقام بتاعته بكام؟ بتساوي يونت ماتريكس يعني. ماشي؟ حاول تقرب لها قد ما تقدر المهدد. اوكي؟ تعالوا نشوف بقى الكلمتين دول مكتوبين ازاي. خلي بالك ان الجزء اللي انا بتكلم فيه ده فايتال مهم جدا. هيستخدم during الشابترز او الجزء اللي احنا موجودين فيه وduring الشابترز اللي بعديه and at the end of the course. How to get echelon form, how to get reduced echelon form. It's really very important. خلي بالك it's a talent number one And also, it needs someone with organization and plenty of training to be able to do this. Okay? تعال بقى step by step. أول حاجة a matrix is said to be in echelon form. إمتى سميها echelon form؟ قلت لك أنا upper triangular matrix. شوفوا شرحها. If it satisfies the following conditions. لو هي تحقق الشروط دي. Number one, all zero rows are below non-zero rows. كل الصفوف اللي فيها صفات تبقى فين؟ بتاعت. Number two, the first non-zero entry of a row is in a column to the right of the first non-zero entry of the row above it. ده مش هيحصل إلا لو أنت upper triangular matrix. خليني أديلك example of an upper triangular matrix عشان تماتش اللي أنا بقوله. وليكن 3 0 0 4 2 0 7 6 and 8. الشكل اللي قدامي ده بيطلق عليه upper triangular matrix. Am I right؟ وده اسمه اشلون فوق. دي ده اشلون فوق. تعالى كده. في عندك زيرو رو، انت عارف يعني ايه زيرو رو يا مهند؟ صف كامل وصفار. هل انت عندك صف كامل وصفار؟ حلو. طيب خلي بالك the first pivot or the pivot of first row of each row is the first number that's not equal to zero from the left. أول رقم اللي هو 1 1 يساوي رقم مش بيساوي صفر. طيب اللي بعديه كله صفر. تعال بص على النمبر ده هتلاقي ان النمبر ده هو أول نمبر مش بزيرو وموجود في العمود اللي على يمين العمود الثاني وتحتيه أهو. بص the first non-zero entry of a row. The first non-zero entry of a row.